Go for it.
So the Raise Up movie premiere was when I saw all the legends in the same room. That was a very precious moment to me. And I remember like it was yesterday. We were in the lobby, you guys were taking pictures. I'm standing next to Zeph, and Jay was standing next to, I want to say you or someone else. And we both looked at each other like, I don't know you. Who are
Mm.
you? But you look, we sized each other up like, yo, you look my size and my weight. I'm gonna see you somewhere, you know? So fast forward to the bar brawl before mine. I think the bar brawl before mine was Letty's. When Letty battled Brittany, I coached her for that. And I want to say it was Abs versus Shredder.
Yeah.
So at the time, Nikita, we just had our second child. My training was very like slacking. So I went up to Doc like, I need a bar roll because that will kickstart my mentals, right? So he's like, cool. He lined me up versus Mr. Clean.
Hmm.
It was supposed to be me versus Mr. Clean. So I'm like, let's go. Training for it. Mr. Clean was a schedule conflict, and he started reaching out to people, and he said, yo, you know what? This Jay Lethal might be a matchup for you. He actually wants to battle you. So I'm like, who the hell is Jay Lethal? I look on there, it's the kid from that I saw at the movie premiere. So I'm like, let's go. Like, I saw this coming. So I'm
Right.
training. Like, you can ask my wife, I was training like crazy. I was in Blink every day going crazy. But the fact that our people don't notice, our battle got pushed back at least 4 or 5 months.
Right.
We were supposed to battle in like November. So I'm not, I take responsibility for this. I'm not taking nothing away from that man because he earned that win, true and true. But my training slacked because I'm just like, this is never gonna happen.
Mm.
Every weekend they like next week, next week, next week. And I'm like, when the hell are we gonna battle? I gotta take off work. I gotta find babysitters. Like, I got 2 kids now. So I'm just like, I'm mentally checked out. But I don't want Lethal to think that I'm running, like
Right.
it's so we ended up waiting till March because we wanted a warm day, and it turned out to be the coldest damn day of the
Yeah.
year.
It was.
Like I said, I was still training. Shout out to Lethal because he's somebody, I do my research. I watched all y'all videos versus Team Gator. He's somebody that was on the scene for a very long time. So in my mind, I'm the underdog. Yes,
Mm.
maybe I'm more known, more popular, but you've been training longer than me.
Mm.
It's just people know me better than you because you're not a public person. You're known maybe uptown, but in the Brooklyn area, the Reds, the Keefs, the Docs, the Zefs, they know me. So they were
Right.
all putting this insane amount of pressure on me. And my nerves are kicking in. Everyone's nervous. To this day, I get nervous performing. So I'm like, damn, like I gotta win. I'm fresh under Zeph. It took me years to get in good with Zeph. So I'm like, I gotta go crazy. So my problem was, and in hindsight, like you said, I'm glad it happened. I didn't train the muscle up. The muscle up was the latter part of the routine. I hit the
Right.
Great Wall of China. I was
Mm.
trying my darndest, but I could not get the muscle up. He got rejuvenated in the muscle ups. I literally looked at this man and I was just like, how is he doing that? Because I'm trying to do it. I was leading the
Mm.
whole battle until I won 3 quarters, and he blew me out in the fourth quarter and came out with the win. And like you said, it was the coldest day out there. We were freezing. His bench broke in the middle
Yeah.
of the battle, so our battle had to pause to make sure this man didn't need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So, he fought through it. It was a very emotional moment. Shout out to that man. Like, in my opinion, that's one of the most dramatic and best battles to date. And like you said, from that battle, I dwelled on it. I was obsessed with it, not with the loss, not with the person, with my personal performance. Like you
Right.
said, you
Right.
learn way more in a loss than you do in a win. I realize to this
Always.
day, if you see me compete tomorrow, I will go in the corner, I will close my eyes, and I will remember how I felt that day. I will never feel like that again, ever. That's my drive every time I train. I went to the gym after that bar roll and did only muscle ups. Nikita was like, "Oh, you coming home?" No, I'm not. I lost. I'm a loser. I'll come home when I win. You know, so and I actually got so obsessed, I injured myself. I was overtraining. I got injured for about, I had a very bad lat strain. I couldn't even dead hang. I was out of pulls for 6 months. So in that time is when I started coaching because I couldn't do nothing else. But that's basically my story with the bar roll.
Yeah, that's great. Because I remember when you had your podcast, you would ask me a question, and I said I predicted every single bar brawl.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And and I was like, and you were like, he was like, mine too. I was like, yeah, yours too. But what it was, since I knew muscle ups were last, and I knew Miguel and all these guys were training Jay, no matter what routine we did, muscle ups would always be last.
Yeah.
So when I saw muscle ups were last, I was like, oh, he's ready for this.
Yeah.
You know, I said, I don't know what, because at the time I wasn't around you as much as I was back like in the day.
Yeah, like in
so
the
I didn't
early
see what your
days.
so I didn't know what your strength was like. But once I got Miguel and them to say like, yo, he's ready, I was like, okay, so he's set. And I just sat back and watched. And anybody that knows any competition, the person leading is the most vulnerable person.
Oh yeah.
Because the person behind you gets to see how much they have to do to beat you.
Yep.
You know? And for the most part, you were on like desperation mode. You were like, I need to finish. And I was like, when we get to these muscle ups, we're gonna see who's gonna win. And then that's when I was like, yeah, that's pretty much what it came down to. But like
that
I
day,
said, immediately after that,
that day opened my mind too, because I was in a one-dimensional style of training. It was big clips or nothing. A lot of people don't realize that my routine for the people at home was 50 dips, 25 pull, 40, 20, 30, 15, 20, 10, 10, 5, then 20 muscle ups to conclude it. I did the 50 straight. I did the 25 straight. Out of the 40, I must have did like, I did like 15 or so. But I would take long rest and hit a big number. In my mind, that's the way to train. That day showed me that, you know, it opened my mind. Like there's different forms of kung fu to still get the result that you want. Because this man would do threes, get off, go on fours, like the little numbers that add up, a lot of breaks. So I was just looking at it like, he's only doing threes and fours. I'm doing 15s. I'm cool. But he saved more in the tank for the muscle ups than I did.
Right.
So now after that, I realized, like with my coaching style, I'm gonna combine the two because I like my big clip style, but I want that short rest period still can do consistent numbers. You know, so that that's what I took away from that day. And like you said, that loss turned me into, I'm never gonna feel this again. When I get back in competition, I'm killing every single thing in my view.
And that's what I saw. Like the way you approach the bar, what is the term I like to say? I like to watch the way people approach the bar. Some people might be nonchalant and go up there cracking jokes up until it's their time to perform. And there's the derails, close their eyes, stand still, take deep breaths.
The competition goat. That's what I call him. The competition goat.
Yeah. So the way you approach the bar, I saw the seriousness after that. And I was like, oh, we created a monster.
Absolutely.
That loss created a monster. And I was like, that's what I would hope to see happen. And I'm glad it happened, because then you proved it. And you was like, all right, I ain't taking no losses anymore. Tell me what a barbarian workshop is like. Because I know you traveled with Zeph a bit on the West Coast and overseas. What is a barbarian workshop entail?
So before I answer that, I gotta just give a little intro to Zeph himself. What me choosing to be a barbarian, because at the time you know, like I said, I met you first. If we go off of the first person we meet, technically I should be part of brotherhood. You understand? Like I value what, like everything to this day that I received from you, every piece of guidance, every piece of advice. But when I met Zeph, it changed my life because he's the type of person, he's so reserved, and I saw so much similarities of myself in him. You know, because I say this a lot, I don't ever make an excuse when I work out, but at the time I'm working two jobs. I have two kids. Me working out is hard to do. You know, like finding a babysitter. I'm working 75 to 80 hours a week. You know, so that's why it's so valuable to me. Like you said, when I get to the bar, there's no time for games because my babysitter, if I'm running late, I'm probably won't have a babysitter again. You know, and my kids were toddlers, babies at the time.
Yeah.
So when I met Zeph, found out that he was a married man with children, and of course, it like the strength is impressive. Don't get me wrong. Zeph is by far one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life. But when I learned, I've always associated with strength with extreme cockiness. And then when I seen you, and then I seen this man just so reserved and like a regular dude, I'm like, wow, like that's amazing. You know, like you're the strongest dude, and you wouldn't know unless somebody came over and say, hey, that's Zeph. So I idolized him as the man he was before I idolized Zeph on the bar. And then, like I said, I grew up, I'm still friends with some people that I know from 5 years old. So when I see that his circle is his mans from high school and his boy from that lived on the block with him, I'm like, that's how I roll. You feel me? So I'm like, yo, this is where I want to be. On top of that, he's this dedicated to the craft. Some people just work out to work out because they get attention, they get this, they get that. This man is in love with the craft, like the grip here, the grip there, and gripping there, like like the actual science of working out, and that's what I fell in love with. So when he did the workshop, and when I found out he travels the world, I remember like it was yesterday. I was in and I asked him, I'm like, yo, I don't mean to intrude because I'm a very polite and respectful person. Even if you are gonna tell me something, I'm gonna say thank you every single time. That's just how I was raised. So I said, yo, can I come? Like I'll be in the corner, I'll be quiet. I just wanna witness, I just wanna see. And he's like, shut up. If you wanna come, you could come. You family. So I'm like, okay, cool. So the fact that, like I said, I've been overseas before playing basketball. Basketball is a world famous sport. The fact that I'm traveling to Europe to do pull-ups and push-ups blew my mind. Blew my mind. We get to Italy. There's posters of Zeph in the street. He's standing next to the poster, and people, Italians, are taking pictures of him. And I'm just like, wow, like. And mind you, no one speaks English, but maybe one guy, the host, and it's broken English. So we're talking to everybody through Google Translate. And then when we got to the bar, there was no words that need to be said. Zeph goes up there, do a 40 into a muscle up into 100 push, and everyone understood that. Yep, that's the set. And I'm just like, wow, like this is amazing. Like this man didn't say not one word, but he spoke, his reps spoke to every single person here. And just seeing people excited to learn and to be around him and even to be around us. Oh, Snoop, Snoop, Snoop. Oh my God, Snoop. And I'm like, this is amazing, bro. Like, this is like mind blowing. Like, I'm in Europe doing pull ups. Thank you, Zeph. Like, that's something that I value forever. Even if I go back to Europe a million times, that first time was mind blowing. Mind blowing. And then mind you, a lot of, like I said, a lot of people I met Cyborg, who I idolized when I first started. I'm sharing a damn room with you. You know, I met Ice Water, who in my opinion is top 3 strongest in the world right now. I met Sergio. I met all these guys that I'm like, I've only seen you through a screen. I'm actually sharing a set with you. And that's all because of Zeph's impact on the world. And like I said, he could be the cockiest person in the world, but he's not. Like, you know, and like that really made me decide like Barbarians is where I needed to be, just because it resonated with me so much. And that's actually still my motivation now, because Zeph was so successful that he could have left people behind.
Right.
But he will not take a trip without certain people. Some barbarians, some gold wings don't do any workouts, but they're gold wings just off of loyalty. And that's how I've always modeled my life. So that was the best experience for me by far, by far.
So talk me through the gold wing process. Not necessarily the process, but let's go through when you finally accomplished it. Where it was, the mold, who else was there? I already know this, but let's talk to people about it.
So the gold wing process, to be a gold wing barbarian, there is a physical requirement that you have to do. And obviously there's a loyalty aspect to it. So Zeph says this all the time. The physical part is the easy part, because anyone can train strong enough to do a set.
Right.
But to be a good person, that has to be, or to vibe with his morals, what his brand represents, that's something you got to be born with. So he says that people are barbarians and they don't even know it yet. You understand? So with that being said, when I first came in, I'm a very goal-oriented person. I was obsessed with the BBR. I'm doing every variation of it, asking every person that passed, what were your tricks? What were your techniques? How did you train? Exactly what did you do? Tell me so I can try. I was obsessed with it to the point where people like, Snoop, leave me alone. Like, I was obsessed with it. So shout out to Pop, my brother Pop, man. Like, I could go on for a whole nother 20 minutes about how much that man means to me, but he was my mentor for Barbarians, because Barbarians is a referral system. You have to come in under someone. So Pop was my big brother for this. So he would train with me. He would teach me things. And at the time, the BBR was 5 muscle ups, 50 dips, 30 pulls, 60 push-ups, 5 muscle ups, unbroken, perfect form in 6 minutes.
Yeah.
When I'm really getting there, Zeph decides, you know what? We got the upgrade. We're dropping it to 5 minutes. I'm like, come on. I'm never good. Like, come on. But you know what? Cool. Cool. Let's get it. Because now if I get it in 5 minutes, I'm solidified. I'm in there. So I'm training for 5 minutes now, right? Another story that I've never really told, Ice is in California. He made the BBR look like a piece of cake. He wants to come to New York. I had to talk with my wife. Like, yo, if you need somewhere to stay, you can stay by me. The only thing I ask is you give me some tips, train me. You know, he ended up staying with me for 3 months, and that was the most intense training I've ever done in my life. We were training in the gym, in the park, in my living room, in my kitchen, on the rack, everywhere. So I was really in tune. I was training like crazy. At the time, he used to do a BBR day at TSP, where you can take it that day. That's the one time a year that you can take the BBR. I went up there and I bombed. Failed it badly. So now the workshop, we fly out to Italy. And mind you, this was right after my bar brawl. The bar brawl was March. We went to Italy in April. So I go out there. Sergio becomes the first Italian barbarian. He destroys the routine, right? So after the workshop, he allowed me to attempt it. I wasn't ready for it. In my practice runs, I never did nothing better than 7 minutes. But I figured, when in Rome, you might as well try. This is an opportunity. I did well in my eyes. You know, Zeph told me later on, like, you would have failed. Those muscle ups, you use a lot of legs. But in my mind, I killed it. I did it in like 5:03. And mind you, my best practice run was 7 minutes. So I'm just like, yo, the energy, the adrenaline, like, it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's do it. So I went into overdrive. I went too hard though, because I ended up injuring myself. But I failed 2 times in Italy the first time. We went back to Italy the next year. I failed 3 times in Italy. On top of the TSP fail, So I actually have the most attempts and fails out of any barbarian. I have the record. Yeah,
Really?
I have the record. So when I passed, it was actually my 8th attempt because we had a workshop in California.
Yeah.
Before the workshop started, we all tried. Because it was me, it was Ant. Shout out to the Vegan Wolf. It was Boss, and it was T Lee out of Virginia. Us 4 were attempting the BBR. All 4 of us failed in the beginning. So now I'm just like, damn, like keep failing. Zeph allowed us to take it again at the end of the workshop. So everyone at the workshop witnessed it. Me and Ant ended up passing it. Like it was by far like you remember when KG won his first
Yeah.
championship? It was that by far. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it took everything in me not to cry because I don't knock people that don't cry, but I'm not gonna get caught slipping on tape. I'm from Brooklyn. I gotta hold it down at all times. But you know, it was a very, very emotional moment for me. It was one of those things where it was just like this was something I was chasing for 4 years strong. And I didn't realize how much people I was motivating because I literally got, you know, when it's your birthday, you get like 80 messages because it's your
Yeah.
birthday. I got
Yeah.
about 80 messages that night. Yo, Snoop, oh my God, you got me so motivated. Thank you. And da da da, you look up to me. So like that was such a great experience for me. And it was one of the best moments of my life. That's right underneath my children being born.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
being married, like it's top 5 moments in my life, period.
Just that goal, accomplishing that goal. That
Man, and as you can
is
see, man,
that
like I tried to frame it, but I had to order like 6 or 7. Like I got to show this off. I got to wear these.
that's the picture where it's either a muscle up or you're on a dip and you're like screaming like that.
Yes, because here's the trick. So in Italy, I failed by my last muscle up.
Wow.
I used too much legs. It got to the point where they huddled to watch the replay. So I'm sitting there in
Mm.
suspense, like, did I pass? Did I pass? And they're like, that last muscle up. So if you notice, I hit the last muscle up and I stayed on the bar and I'm looking for Zeph in the crowd. Like, am I good? Because I'm up here still. I'll do another one if I'm not. So he's like, so I said, let's go. Like, that's when I like just let it all out. Because I stayed on the bar. If you look, you see me looking around for the verification. Am I
Right.
good enough? Because I
Right.
got
Right.
7 of these before in the past. That ain't it. So I got one of those, and it just I had to let it out, man. It flew out.
So, so now let's talk about the first time you hosted PUBG.
Mm,
PUBG was going out. They didn't know what they were going to do. I mean, they reached out to me, of course, and Red, and I was supposed to be a part of it, but I started Push the World Tour, and I had taken on way too much that I could handle, and I was pretty much behind the scenes with PUBG, and then I would
yes.
judge, but I helped Red with the website and the Instagram and even how to set up the post and everything else. So I was behind the scenes, and then you took it upon yourself and said, I can make this thing work.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
Like
I'm a very genuine person. When I align with a person's spirit, there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. The very first time I met Red and Keith, they were so loving. It was just like, and in my mind, you know, we're in New York. You know, it's just like have someone being nice is rare.
yeah,
Everyone is grimy, trying to plot on you, trying to do something to you. So when you meet someone that's genuinely nice, it's just like, whoa, you know. So like Keith to this day gives us teddy bears. You know, he came out to the competition. So a lot of people don't know this. You know, Red was attached to Team Sparta from jump because you know, I always were at least 5 girls to the comp. block from my house. They did a class at Fort Greene. My
I
girls
was,
was there.
I was there.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and like I said, Red is also someone I looked up to because, like I said, I very much value people being positive in negative surroundings. I'm like, this man is nice. See in some of my mentors. So, you know, Pup J with his longevity, it being so long lasting. I think at the time it was either the 20th anniversary or the 21st anniversary. I'm not sure. So, you know, I was always the one like, hey, are we doing it? He's like, far as witnessing, seeing the pros and cons, and I'm just an analytic person anyway. Like that's dope, but this could be better. Like I'm just one of those type of people. So, you know, the Pup Jays, in my opinion, you know, it was one of them things. We get out of there 10 o'clock. Letty was a referee that year too.
Yeah.
I
Shannon.
brought in like, yeah,
Shannon too.
Shannon, Ashley, like, you know, I brought in like
Oh
my
yeah.
my core team to make this work. And you know, I'm not trying to brag. They said it was one of the smoothest Pup Jays in the history. You know, we gave out the trophies and everything was done by like 7, 8 o'clock. You know, and Red said he got to actually mingle and talk to people and enjoy, you know, his event. So like, you know, that enough, like, you know, he came up to me, he's still thanking me to this day, and I'm like, Red, bro, I'll do it anytime, no hesitation, because it is something that I am passionate about. As a competitor, you know, doing all these competitions, there are things that I would like to see in competition. Some things that I have a problem with as a competitor. Like, you know, I feel like I'm a player coach.
Right.
You know, that's the popular thing in the NBA now. Steve Nash, Tyronn Lue, like these people that were on the court and they're coaching from a different perspective than that old guy that just
Yeah.
knows the X and O's. You
Yeah.
know,
That
so
wasn't.
like, you know, it was an experiment that, you know, Red and Keith and they took the roll of the dice with me. And I very much thank them for that because, you know, this was their legacy on the line and they trusted me with it.
Right.
So super shout out to them for that, man. Like that's really what made me decide like I can do this. If I could run Pup J, yes.
How much were you involved? Whether you just picking the athletes or the routines, or what was your involvement in the bar brawls that you were involved in?
So before that, I actually hosted the Gainesville
Right.
for Bar Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a referee for them, but their event was like the reps and sets portion was so small. I was the only referee and I was the
Mm-hmm.
only organizer. So I organized the Pup J, I organized the helping them with the match because you know, no disrespect to Doc and Zeph, they don't know all the players, the younger, they don't know the newer guys, they know the established guys.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, I met this guy randomly in the park. I'm gonna bring him to Wingate so you can assess him, but I think he's a good matchup for this person. So I was just kind of like the scout, I guess. I would send profiles to Doc and Zeph so they could be like, okay, that would be a good matchup. And then after that, you know, with the success of Pup J, Doc would give me more responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at that as like an internship. You know, like, okay, you did good at this. Now handle this, like handle my music or do help with the flyers. Because a lot of people don't know this. I make flyers as well. So I was the one doing the flyers, promoting, posting on the bar club page, like helping him do the videos, the interviews, organizing it. So I was very much behind the, like I said, taking it off of his plate, because the biggest concern I got from speaking to Red, they were getting overwhelmed.
Right.
You know, so I'm like, all right, let me do my part and you just stick to hosting and being the face and everything. Like, I'll do all of this stuff because this is something I want to learn to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win situation for everyone.
And the
You know,
biggest
so
crowd. You were doing it with the biggest crowd in calisthenics at the point.
exactly. So when it came to the bar brawls, I was the one setting up the matchups, or if he had a potential matchup, I was reaching out to the athletes saying, are you interested? Just keeping them up to speed. Your rules to the T. You understand? Like Pup J, I'm not changing structure, I'm not changing format. I'm just following the mold. And I did the same thing with the bar brawls. Doc, you make these routines. So I would just put pressure on him, like, yo, they need the routine. They need the routine. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You know, I was like the annoying secretary, I guess.
Right.
Like,
But
hurry up,
it's
they need
necessary.
time.
But that's
Exactly.
necessary.
Because, you
Yeah.
know, like I said, these routines are strenuous. So you need time to prepare.
Right.
Doc is a busy man. So I was just on some like, yo, make sure they get their routine by midnight. So I was just on them. And like I said, it was a beautiful partnership. I was personally involved in, I want to say like the last maybe 3 or 4 bar brawls.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one was the biggest one we had to date. That was 5 battles one day with 2 female battles.
Right.
And before that, we only had 2 female battles in the history of bar brawl completely.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, no, we had 1 because the second one, 2 girls backed out.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
that's right.
you know, I like that's when I kind of realized, like, you know, I can really do this organizer thing. But the problem with that is I still want to compete here and there, you know? So it was that it's hard to wear
Yeah,
both
that
hats.
balance. You're pretty much creating a competition that you want to compete in, knowing that you
I
can't
can't compete
compete
in
in it.
because I'm creating it.
That's right. So bring us to March Madness, the very first one. Talk to me about that and how much help did you have organizing that one?
So March Madness, my first competition, it was really I really got into the mode of every March. Like, you know, I'm a very selfless person. I always do for other people before I do for myself. So I decided that, you know what, for my birthday, I never really celebrate my birthday. I want to do something, but I don't club no more. I don't do a lot of the things I did when I was younger. I'm all into calisthenics. So you know what? I'm going to throw my version of a calisthenics party. I love basketball, so I made a basketball format competition that I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the show, and it's going to be the dopest birthday present to myself. So I pitched the idea to you guys. I think I pitched it to you, Zeph, Doc, like all the OGs. Do you think this will work? Because if you remember, my original March Madness was like a 4-on-4.
Right.
Like it was with coaches, and the coach could jump in if they want to.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was crazy. And
Yeah.
everyone gave me the thumbs up because, you know, they was already like, okay, Snoop, he did a Pup J. He helps with the bar bros. Like, he got some clout. So, okay, we were in. So, you know, it changed because of availabilities and athletes, injuries, etc. So it got downgraded to a 2-on-2. So the first event, it was very I would say it was rough because I personally wanted to do it in Brooklyn. Brooklyn is expensive. These gyms wanted like $1,200 to rent it for like 4 hours. And this was me doing everything out of my pocket. I didn't know nothing about sponsors. Because remember, I'm helping Red. I'm helping Doc. I'm not the main guy reaching out for grants or loans or park permits. I don't know anything about this.
Right.
So I'm looking into renting gyms. Brooklyn wants an arm and a leg. I reached out to Kangaroo, who just opened their USA branch. Shout out to Alex, because he was very helpful in the whole process, because I wanted to rent bars, like almost like what they did for the UFL. They assembled it and disassembled it after the event. So I'm like, all right, I'll rent a little space in Brooklyn and you assemble, disassemble, and we go from there. So they referred me to the Barefoot Boys, who just opened their gym. Shout out to J. Lou and Marv. And I was like, all right, it's a little bit out there, but same mentality. If people want to do it, they'll do it. But unfortunately, they just got their gym, and they had like a capacity. Like they could have had more than 40 people in the gym. They was on like a probation period.
Right.
So I respect it. Like you got to take care of home. So big special shout out to my brother Boss Life, because he was part of March Madness as a competitor, and he offered me his gym for the low, because he was just so invested in my idea that he wanted to be a part of it. He was like, yo, you can use my gym. This is the set price. And so he asked, because if at that point, I'm like, I'm not going to do the event because I have no place to do it. March, I have a bad experience in March. March 3rd was the coldest day. So I'm like, I'm not doing this event outside.
Right.
And that's where the pay-per-view thing, John can attest to this, because John helped me do the pay-per-view for that. He walked me and Puda through it. How to do it, how to this, download this, try that. So we wanted to do it indoor so we can see if this is a viable way to, bring in revenue to grow the sport.
Right.
So that was actually our first successful pay-per-view. People don't notice, I actually paid for internet at Boss's Gym and canceled it right after the event. Optimum installed it and disinstalled it the next day, just because we wanted that experience. We wanted to say we tried. If it's successful, we did it. If we failed, at least we tried.
Right.
So shout out to Boss, man, because without him, March Madness 1 wouldn't have happened. It was a very special event. Like I said, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I am now, so it wasn't promoted enough. But the people that were there, the energy was off the chain. It was exactly what this one was. It was intense. It was like the people that were there when they speak on it is just kind of like, whew. So it gave me the confidence to bring it back this year. I wanted to do it last year, but obviously because COVID was fresh, so it didn't happen. But I really wanted to bring that back because it was heavily requested by the people that were in it. Because like I said, no disrespect to these competitions that's going out there, but as an athlete, I don't really get to showcase my strength in a 60-second or a 2-minute round. Some people, their first set is their worst set. So that's why I put this in, like, you got to lose twice. You understand? So that was the motivation to this. And I do want to showcase some athletes. Besides the battles, I felt we didn't have enough avenues to showcase the people that can do this. Like the people that can work out for 3-4 hours and they look like they just started. I wanted something to showcase that person. So and I just modeled it after how I train, because there's days where I'm in the park doing 2,000-3,000 push-ups alone. So I wanted to show that. And I got so much respect from people because they respect my craft, the work that I put out there. So they trusted me to do it.
Yeah. When you first approached me about it, I immediately thought it was too long, right? And then I had to sit back and think, right? I had to think. I was like, it's too long for, not necessarily for me, because being in the park for a couple hours is, if you were really about this life, that's almost every other day that you step into a park.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking about it for the viewer, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, no. I was like, this is a live stream. This is something that they can have,
Yes.
So worst case scenario, they can fast forward to the parts, different parts of it, go back to it. whatever, right? So I was like, no, this still the format of this and everything else is unique still, and this culture needs different ways of saying it instead of the same old thing over and over again. So the first one, like, it kind of went under the radar. A lot of people don't even remember it, that it happened,
Yeah.
for whatever reason. So I was like, you know what, this is a great way to display it. And, us getting involved in it, we was going to push it as much as possible. And
But people don't
my
understand that it being under the radar gave it infamousness.
right.
Because the
Yes.
people that spoke about it, it's almost like when you had Zeph on here and he spoke about the round table. And everybody's like, whoa, what's that? What's that? I never heard of that. And it sounds important.
Yeah.
That's what March Madness was. Like, people will say March Madness. Ooh, that was crazy. Wait, what was that? How come I
Yeah.
don't know about it?
Right.
Oh,
How did
whoa,
I get
whoa.
involved
And
in
then
it? Why
when
didn't I
Doc
see it?
dropped that compilation video, because like I said, Kato and Marv, they were my first winners. Shout out to Kato and Marv. When they won, Kato walked in looking for a partner at the door.
Wow.
And he lost in his first round, and they came back and won as the Redeem team. So it was such a Cinderella story, and everyone left there, like I told you in private, like everyone left there with a sore voice because it was so energetic. So when Doc, he perfectly captured that in that compilation video he did, and part of that was my motivation. Like, people need this, and like you said, I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this for attention, for likes. If it comes, I'll take it. But
Yeah.
that's not my goal with it. I want to appeal to the athlete. Like you said, I'm still an athlete. So these are competitions that I want to be in.
Right.
So I'm putting out there to what a real calisthenics athlete, like when you say like, yo, I'm the strongest, it's when through things like this, because I threw burpees at y'all, muscle ups, ISOs. I threw everything I could at you to show who's well versed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was my motivation for it. And like you said, the people that want to receive it, they will. If you want to sit, some people watch the whole 6 hours
Yep.
with no
Yep.
breaks, like they watch every inch of it. Some people fast forward it, but for whoever was supposed to receive it, it'll find them. That's how I looked at it.
And that's exactly it. And I've had a lot of messages of people that said, I started watching it and I was like, nah, I'm only gonna watch like a couple hours. And they said I sat there and watched all 6.5 hours of it, and I was just drawn in by it because, again, as much as we tell people we're trying to make it into a sport, if you look at it, it already is.
Yes.
It has all the drama that comes with tears, you see the laughter, you see everything that encompasses a sport in this. You just have to open your eyes, look at it. Now, one of the moments that I was the most proud of in the last March Madness was a conversation you had with me about Zeph, about how you wanted this, hoping that you would get to see that emotion from him again that you saw. Yes. And it happened right next to me.
Yes.
He was standing right next to me when I witnessed exactly what you were hoping to get from him. And I was so proud of you in that moment because
thank you.
Like it literally just manifested himself when he couldn't sit back there anymore. Because Zeph and the Barbarians, they love
they play the cut, they the cool
away
guys
from everything, looking from a distance. And he came all the way to the front to cheer his guys on and really, really get into it. And I was like, this is exactly what he was just talking about. Did you notice that?
Absolutely. Because the thing with this, the main goal for these competitions is always motivation. Mm-hmm. I had this conversation with D-Real that my goal with this is to re-spark the older generation. It doesn't always have to be to compete, but to be involved, to be active, to be in the loop. The current guys and whoever we inspire to join our community. Like once I get something, I look for those three. Like when people get married, what's the saying? Something blue, something thing. Like there's certain
something
things.
Borrowed, something.
Yeah, I looked at that with calisthenics. I need to trigger emotion in the golden era guys to the point where, like, when D-Real had the interview with you, and he's like, "Yo, I want to get in," I was like, "Yes, success." I don't care how much likes or views I got. Mission accomplished. You
Yeah.
understand? The current guys getting their well-deserved praise. Guys like the Gaines team out of Florida, Miguel and Dr. Gaines, like these guys, like them really putting it out there. And now, if you didn't know who they were, you know who they are now. They gained everyone's respect. And then the guys that said, like, yo, this was so motivating, man. I want to start working out. I want to be involved. Like, those were the three um prerequisites I was looking for. Those three things to me was my success. If I
Mm.
get those three things, I'm good. So, like I said, and especially with a person like Zeph who doesn't display emotion, like he doesn't get excited because he done seen every damn thing in this calisthenic community he could. So
Right.
for him to say like, "Yo, that was insane," Jude came up to me and another famous barbarian. Shout out to brother Jay Plants, Jude.
Oh,
He came
definitely,
up to me,
definitely.
and I apologize if you didn't want me to say this on air, but he straight up told me in every competition he's ever been to, that triple threat was the most exciting thing he's ever seen in competition, period. And I stood back like, wow, like that is such a powerful statement because y'all have literally traveled the world and been to every single competition that's probably been done.
Yeah.
So for you to say
Yeah.
that, I was just like, blessings, man. Like we on to something. And shout
Yeah.
out to you guys, man. Like the commentary, I really sat here. I watched that 6 hours and 40 minutes twice already.
Me
I
too.
wanted to hear everything. Like that commentary was amazing, amazing, and it
Appreciate
came
you,
from a
man.
place from experience from you both. Because a lot of people don't remember John was a competitor.
That's
I met
right.
John in competition,
Yep.
so y'all speaking from a place of knowledge and a place of understanding and just the balance that y'all brought. Me and Puda was in there like, man, this is we're witnessing greatness and everything we've spoke about in the past of the sport coming together. Yes, there's still a lot more work to do, but
Mhm.
it's very uplifting to know that we on the right path. At least we
Yeah.
know this is the direction. We know the direction now. We just gotta keep on the road.
That's true. And we have to thank you and thank you for the for those kind words. And we have to thank you because throughout this process that me and John have been having, we've had a lot of kickback. As welcoming as we thought everybody would be, they are not. So
Talk
for
about it.
you to open up your arms to us, like I said, we were standing here shaking our head like one of these people have to see that what we're doing is genuine. And we're not asking for anything, we're sharing everything. We're
Nah,
not
no doubt,
trying to
man.
take
No doubt.
ownership of everything. So to be able to work with you to that
For free.
capacity, nothing, yeah, nothing but bigger and better from here on out. But one thing I had to point
You,
out too, it within the competition, when we're talking about these moments and the recognition, another person that gave huge recognition, Keith Fields, and the
yes.
fact that you had a VIP section
Oh
for
yeah.
these people that were, have paved the way and are idolized in this game. You literally had a section for them so they can see the growth of this sport, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I watched as Keith got up from his seat every single time and went over and embraced numerous athletes and just was like proud. Those proud moments. He was like, man. And remember, this is the guy that had you represent his brand. So for him to be there and be proud, absolutely proud of what you've accomplished. And he was like, you know what? I'm not retired because Keith is still trying to do some things that I'm not going to
Nice.
speak about. He
That's
still
great
is
to hear.
working on some stuff. And he said, yo, to see your evolution made him very proud.
No,
And he said, if I could just
and
be around this.
and that those are the things that really make me realize it was worth it. It was worth all those drives where we went to Connecticut to plan this.
Right.
Every dollar that I spent on squat benches, mics, equipment, it made it all worth it because, like I said, I spoke to you about it in confidence, but having the OGs there was very important to me. And it wasn't as a attention grab. It wasn't like I wasn't gonna put them on a flyer like, hey, you need to show up because the Barbarians or Tech or Keith is going to be there. And like, I really generally wanted to surprise them. I only told Tech from Harlem Seals, and I only told D-Real, because I knew I needed somebody to help me organize. And I told you to reach out to, like, you know, Soul and the Uptown OGs that I look up to. But it was very important to me because you guys you don't really understand how much we've modeled everything we do after what we've seen y'all guys do. You know, even down to your battles with Team Gator and just your presence and your organization and keeping the culture alive to where we're not selling out. Like yes, we want to be successful, but not without losing the core aspect of why we do this. You understand? So it was very important to me to show you guys, because, you know, like, I listened to a lot of your old podcasts, and of course we're not going to do it like you guys did it. It's impossible. You know, y'all are the originators. Y'all went with it, and y'all did it more as like a energy. You know, it was just kind of like a culture, and it was a movement. We're doing it more as a sport, like a structured thing. You know, so I really want to bring back your old culture, because y'all, in my opinion, y'all had more fun than we have now. Y'all had way more fun. That's just my
in competition opinion. In competition,
just with calisthenics in general. Like, it was more like exciting. It was fun. Like, now it's more like it's too. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not. I want to bring the golden era energy back to how modernized, if that makes sense. And that was part of my goal. That's showing, like you said, we settle disputes with battle, not Instagram back and forth, subliminals. If you say you're the strongest, you have to prove it. You can't just write that because it looks good in the text. Someone needs to come check you. You understand? Like, if you win March Madness, I'll vouch. Yes, you might be the strongest, or you have an argument. You know, it's not just you're typing it because of your fan base. And that's the values that I took from when you guys did it, because, or still, y'all still do it. So from when y'all started doing it, that was what I wanted to bring here, because that got lost during time. Everyone is just saying it without any proving. You call somebody out, it turned into like nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna continue saying I don't need to prove nothing, because I'm not really about that. So that was my motivation, and I hope March Madness helped start that. And that's basically what I was trying to do with it. So I'm hoping that, you know, having the OGs there to give me their 2 cents, to give me their like this is like that excitement like they had, you know, 10, 15 years ago when they started. Seeing D-Real, Zeph, Jude, seeing people excited like this was back in the 2000s and stuff. I'm like, yep, mission accomplished.
I think it's even better with the introduction of the head-to-head battles, because you get a little more drama when you get a whole crowd of people just watching 2 or 3 people. You know what I mean? Instead of watching a marathon of people going at it and everything else. Now, there's still a need for that in some form, but definitely the head-to-head battles. And I know you've been an advocate for the head-to-head battles for quite some time.
Oh yeah,
and to see this manifested is definitely a great thing. Are you part of the New World Order?
Yes, I am. Sorry if I lost you. I just plugged up my charger. So the New World Order is comprised so far of myself, Boss Life. Why would you turn off the light? Turn that one back on, please. Sorry, y'all. Turn that one back on, please. It's comprised of myself, Boss from Boss Life Athletics, Vincent Michael, who represents Finding Barbara. Like I said, we've had these conversations before we actually presented ourselves. We had this conversation for at least a year or two. Just about like everything that I just spoke about, bringing sport back, connecting all our competitions. We don't want to just be like, you have a comp over there, I have one over there, and we're not together, you know? Because I remember John was actually part of my motivation for this. He doesn't even know that. He told me he pitched it to ESPN, and they be like, "Yeah, what y'all doing is cool, but y'all all over the place. We want to see unity." So I always had that in my mind, like whether I like this person or not, like we need to be a united front. That's where it comes into, like, if we do have disputes, let's settle it on the bar
Yep.
instead of distancing ourselves.
Yep.
So that was my motivation. Like you said, a lot of kickback, a lot of kickback. Nobody really received it how I did, but in my mind, I'm doing it with or without you. You won't say that I ain't try to involve you, because I tried. But if you trying to get on later on, by all means, because this is really, it means a lot to me. Like when my time on this earth is past, I want to at least know that I gave my best effort at doing something. The goal for me, everyone wants to get paid for what they're passionate about.
Right.
I'm not doing security for the rest of my life.
Mm.
I want to make money off of something that I enjoy doing, waking up doing, and it's shown that it's possible. We've seen it done. So if
Absolutely.
it just comes to organization, this isn't Snoop trying to get recognition. I do not care who's at the forefront, as long as it's done properly. So that's what NWO represented. The New World Order. It was just it basically just meant the old way didn't work. You understand? And it is no knock to anybody, but the distance, the territorial. Yes, I'm a loyal barbarian. I'm a loyal Spartan. I will work out with anybody that wants to work out with me. When I first started, you couldn't even go in certain parks wearing a shirt. It turned into, what you doing here? We got a battle, which is cool. I like that's pretty dope. But it was distance. Teams don't see each other until it was a pup J, and everyone's in the corner, in the corner, in the corner. I still like that. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But we can still work together as as a collective to build this. Because I want to set up a big arena where I could put my team against every team. So we
Absolutely.
need some kind of unity with that. I tell Boss Life all the time, I want to battle Boss every time I see him. You understand? So it comes up to us building, because like a lot of people don't notice, me and Boss trained together all of 2018.
Mm.
There's so many unofficial battles and sessions that a lot of people will never know about. Me and D Real, me and Boss, me and everybody you could think of, because that is how you grow the sport.
Right.
I want to beat you, but I respect you, bro. Like, yo, you're a killer. And
It's
that's what we have
basketball.
to do, because that energy comes back to your team.
Yeah.
And then when we have these competitions, like you said, it turns into like, yo, like, this is tense.
Mm.
This is a rivalry. Like, they're legit trying to kill each other. So that's what we did with the NWO. We actually partnered with Bolo as well. Shout out to Bolo, because we want to showcase, like, we always separated reps and sets and freestyle. We want if it involves the bar, we want to showcase it. Simple
Right.
as that.
Right. Now, I always find it interesting when everybody says that, like, you couldn't wear certain shirts in certain parks, or you couldn't go into certain parks. I always want to know which parks and what teams, because when I came up, I went wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted, never got any kickback, never got any feel that I couldn't be in any spaces. And everybody that ever told me that they felt that never really went anywhere else.
So for me, I never personally experienced it. The closest I experienced it was in Blink. I was wearing, I believe, a Barbarian shirt, and some dudes was like, like, talking, and it ended up turning into a battle. But like
Mm.
I said, I'm excited by stuff like that, so I was
Right.
welcoming to it. But
Right.
that was just the stories I heard, and based off of my experience. Like I said, like, to me, I wasn't there, so I can't speak on
Yeah.
it. But from my
See, that's the thing.
experience, it happened like that slightly, and I heard certain stories where, like I said, certain people go to certain parks, do a set, and then I'm gonna go to your park and do a set, and I'm gonna, like, it turned into those, because every team has like their park.
Right.
Brotherhood is Yankee Stadium. Barbarians at the time was Nazareth Park. Beast Mode is Lincoln Terrace. Highlanders is Highland. So it was one of those things where it's like I said with you, when you said that story, when Brotherhood went to Highland, I'm like, here we go. This is what it's about. So
Right.
that's basically what I was referencing when I brought that up. Just
Yeah, but like I said though, every single person that ever said that never has an
A, a,
actual
a story.
incident, you know, other than like Beast era, you know, early Beast stories, you know, there is no other incidents. So
Mm,
like, I'm literally trying to squash that narrative because it never really existed. Everybody
okay.
that has ever said you can't go to this part, you can't go to this part, the person that usually says that never went to any other parts.
Mm,
And I've
gotcha,
had this,
gotcha.
and I've had this instant in person. I went to Brooklyn. I was in Lincoln Terrace Park, and this guy told me, "Yeah, you know, this person can't go to this part. This person can't this part." And you asked me where I was from. I was like, the Bronx. And everybody around me looked at him like, "So what about this guy? He's from the Bronx. Is there
Yeah,
a problem? Is there a problem?" And he was like, "Yeah, some dudes would have a problem with that." I'm like, "What dudes? Name them. Call them right now. I probably know them."
yep, yep,
And I was like, no. And then I went to the West Coast. It was the same thing. I heard these people don't talk to these people, and I showed them pictures. I'm like, look, here are all of these people in the same location. So
yep.
where are you getting your information from? So for the most part,
And
then that
I concur
narrative,
with that. I agree with that too because Zeph actually calls me the Ranger because I don't like to stay still.
right? Me
Like
too.
I actually did something where I wanted to visit every single park in New York just to say I did it. You know, I travel out of state and I go, you know, representing my brand,
Yeah, yeah,
Barbarians or Spartans. So, you know, I definitely do agree with you when you said that because I've never caught no kickback. And, you know, there might be a myth. That's just the stories I was told, so I repeat them.
yeah. And like I said, it's true because, like I said, I've always said I've since my first step into anybody's park. It was me and my son. He was about 6 or 7 years old, and we went to every single park that had a team in it,
Mm,
and we were welcomed with open arms. Every single one of them. Even when we had battles, when we took Brotherhood all the way to Brooklyn numerous times, it would start off, yeah, let's go. Stop that talking. We would get through it. At the end of it, everybody gave each other that. We went and got some jerk chicken and some vegan patties, and we did it again in a couple of weeks. You know
as
what I
it
mean?
should
So,
be.
right. So, like you said, bringing back that enough talk, let's handle this on the bar needs to be the new norm.
Absolutely.
And bigger than that, we can create events based on whatever beef, whatever, I'm better than you, all of the hype and everything else. We can create whole competitions around this thing. You know, that's the evolution of this sport. That's the evolution. No more myths. Let's put it all on the table, pull some cameras out, generate some income for the athletes, the organizations, and really truly grow this sport. So
Yes.
my next question is next. The next couple of events are coming up. I see UFL has something coming up. Are you involved with that?
Me and Doc started speaking about it. Like I said, I'm still kind of coming down off of March Madness. So, we haven't spoke officially yet, but Doc, if you're watching this, you already know, man. You the big bro. Anything you need from me, don't hesitate. I'm there.
For sure. John, you got anything for Snoop?
Oh God.
Uh,
I know he was. I know he was waiting, and
oh, oh,
and I'm looking at the
I see
time.
you waiting.
How he
We're only
chimes in
four
with the
minutes.
evil
We're four
villain
minutes
laugh.
over time. So
Yeah, so I won't kill you with the question. The questions that I got in my head, I'll give you the one that everybody would probably approve of is give me the hardest training day that you had that it wasn't about so much the workout, but it was a moment where you realize I can this is my sport. You mentioned that basketball was your sport, but there's always a moment and when you're training, when you with a team, like back in the days when I used to ball hard, I knew that okay, I realize why I'm the captain of my team because
Yeah,
nobody can't guard me, can't stay in front of me, and I play the best defense, and I lead them to be better.
yeah,
You became Coach Cap from Snoop? That happens in training.
yes,
That doesn't happen in competition.
right.
yeah.
So, what was that day, if you can remember that day, that
Oh,
moment
I remember. I
when
remember it all, bro.
you transformed? Give me that. Give me that, man.
So if you remember earlier, I was speaking about when we started Spartans, right? And I remember like it was yesterday, the person that was training us, he came up to us in Jamaica. I want to say we was maybe 7 months into our journey. And he said, like I said, I didn't meet Zeph yet, never spoke to him, nothing. He's like, yo, Zeph wants y'all to come out to the park. He wants y'all to train. And we just on some, all right, cool. Well, whatever. We went back in the back. We like, yes, we made it. Zeph hit us up. He wants to see us. So we went out there. It was me, Puda, Shells, Shy, Dev, and Kev. We went 6 deep. We all partnered with one of them. Like I said, at this time, Snoop is not this Snoop. I'm at least 4th or 5th on the Spartan roster as far as strength level. I was nothing. Shells was the number 1 easily. So Shells partners with Pop. Everyone partners with them because this was a lesson for us too of you gotta earn your stripes in this sport. You need somebody like you can be tested by these OG teams. So we go out there. The routine was the belt routine, the full belt. So the push-ups, it adds up. You know, if you guys are familiar with it, it's high bar, low bar, 1 push-up low, 1 push-up high, but it's partnered 4 times up to 10 and back down to 1. So it's 440 push-ups, but the way barbarians do it, we do it race style. A lot of people don't know this. You do it partnered, and it's a race to if I tap both your hands and it's still on the bar, you just lost.
Yeah.
We got murdered. Puda was sore for a week and a half. And guess who Snoop had to be partnered with? Zeph Zachavelli. And mind you, he was training for a workshop. He was about to travel, so he was in a zone. This is prime, like peak Zeph. And I'm partnered with him on the first time I met him. So I still have the footage to this day. So that one, I made it up with him barely, you know, but I was clearly slowing him down. So I got subbed out. We had to sub someone in to go down with him. So that was the moment where we did a few more routines. I remember the belt for sure, but after that, we all were sore for no exaggeration, a full week, 7 days. We were sore. I almost thought I had to go to the hospital because I'm like, yo, this soreness, this ain't normal. You know, but once that soreness thing, crack itch. Yo, Zeph, when's the next time we could come through?
Right.
You know, and he told me straight up, like later on, that that's the rite of passage because everybody talks good game when it comes to calisthenics. So the fact that I even wanted to come back, he was like, okay, young blood. Fact, like a lot of people never come back. A lot of people go to the session and get a fake phone call and have to leave early. You know, I took my death with pride and I wanted more. So, you know, that workout was the moment I realized that I'm really in this. I've never felt like this before. And I'm addicted to this now. Every time I train, I want to be sore for 7 days. Like, this is amazing, you know? So that was the day for me for sure.
Man, I know about them bodies dropping, man. When you get those calls, I want to train with y'all. Okay. One session. Never see them again. Goodbye.
And to this day, I tell people, if you train me for the first time, I'm trying to kill you. I don't want you to come back. Simple as that. That's my tradition from then because I went through it. I got to put people through it. It created me, so it could possibly create another monster, another legend. You know, like those things are necessary, rite of passage.
I would say
everything can be handed to you.
I would say that's what kind of that same story happened when I went to Brotherhood for the first time. And so I don't know what the workout was. Soul put me through something, and he was like, "Yo, yeah." What he asked me the question. I'll never forget it. I said it before. He asked me the question. I knew how much number I had. Like it was like set to 50, and I went through like the first one, the second one. I was hyped. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." He's like, "Yeah, you know we got another 3 sets of 50, right?" I said, "Huh?" He said, "Yeah."
Gotcha.
Come on, I got to 13. He said, "What number you want?" He said, "What number you got to get to?" I had to look him dead in the face. I was like, 50. And he's like, all right. The first day. And I was like, after that, oh, yeah. And get it. I ain't touch a pull-up bar for the rest of the week. When I got back on the pull-up bar, I was sitting there vibrating like a silent cell phone. Let me tell you. It
Yeah.
was, but it hooked me though. I'm like, oh yeah, I need this because again, in other circles, like I can imagine, when you were in the gym, you were crushing it. And it
Oh
was
yeah.
people that you already know, like well, when you get introduced to somebody on a different level, and
Oh yeah.
all you hear is work,
No, no.
And,
work.
and speaking to that, I've never told this too, just real quick, because I know we over time. In my Spartan history and in my barbarian history, I've always worked out with people stronger than me.
Mhm.
You know, Shells was levels above me. Obviously, Zeph is still levels above me to this day. You know, so I've never like that. That's why I want to give another special shout out to Boss, because during the years I was training with him, that's the first time I worked out with somebody even keel.
Mm.
You know, like we're really trying to one up each other every time. So that's when I kind of realized that that's very important in training, because not only I'm so used to chasing someone stronger than me, instead of but there's also a big fire, a big spark in training someone on your exact level. Like, yes, you're a little stronger than me in this, and I'm a little stronger than you in that, and but it's so close that it's like, ooh, I'm gonna get you next time. You know, like you beat me by 2 or 3. You're not beating me by 15 or 20 like I'm used to.
Yeah.
So that lit a fire in me. 2018, that was the year I competed the most and I was killing everything. And like I said, it was due to training like that. So that's why when I do this Coach Cap thing, you know, I do a lot of partnered workouts and trying to put people that's even with each other, because I understand the benefit of it. Because you train with somebody stronger than you all the time, you get intimidated. Oh, they're supposed to do that. It almost is intimidation, not motivation.
Right. Right.
When you work out with somebody on your level, it's like, ooh, I might catch you slipping.
Yeah.
And if I catch you
Cool.
slipping, you ain't gonna catch me slipping. So it gives you a different kind of like a rivalry, a brotherly rivalry.
That's true.
So
True. Yeah. So now real quick before we get out, recently you had an injury. Talk to us about the injury, how it has affected your workout, and what the recovery has been like.
so recently, I came down with appendicitis. Being a thick-headed person, I ignored it. You know, I worked out, let's say I worked out on a Monday. I had stomach pain and just figured, you know, it's stomach pain. I'll just go home, drink some tea, take a good dump, I'll be all right. You know, it just got progressively worse during the week. I literally ignored it for 5 days. So on the 6th day, it was just like, nah, something's wrong. You know, so me and the wife, you know, she tried to self-remedy as much as she can, because I'll be honest with you, I was petrified of the hospital because we're in a pandemic. I don't want to go to the hospital under no circumstances. So, but honestly, that pain was so unbearable, I had to go. When I get to the hospital, within an hour, they diagnosed me with appendicitis. They take me in for a CAT scan, and apparently in the CAT scan, they revealed that my appendix was bursting, like on the spot. So they basically dropped the ball on me that if we don't do emergent surgery right now, it could possibly be fatal. Because for the people at home that don't know, your appendix holds all the bacteria in your body. And once that bursts and the bacteria gets into your bloodstream, you know, it could be fatal. And mind you, I'm lost because I'm just thinking, damn, I just thought I had a stomach ache. Now I'm possibly on my deathbed, you know, like, so, you know, they put me into surgery. Um, like I said, since it was emergency surgery, it wasn't planned. I came out with a lot of complications. So the recovery was a little extra hard. Shout out to my family, my close ones, my wife, who helped me get through it, because it was by far, like, I've been through a lot, but I've never been through anything like that. I can sit here and honestly tell you with no shame in my pride, I was scared. I was petrified. I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I thought I would not see them again. Like I know a lot of people say, "Oh, your appendix, that's minor," blah blah blah. To me, it was real. I've never been in the hospital before like that. Like as a patient, I've been healthy primarily the bulk of my life, thanks to God. So this it blew my mind. Um, I recently started back training, so thank God everything went well. I recovered well. Um, I lost a lot of weight in the process, which I guess comes with the territory because I was very wary of my diet. And what they told me was the appendix going isn't something that you can prevent.
Right.
It's just once your appendix decides it's a wrap, it's a wrap. So it had nothing to do with my diet, my lifestyle, anything. It was just my body. They said it could happen from 10 years old to 50 years old. So, I just accepted that this is something, it's another obstacle to overcome. If I'm really in love with calisthenics like that, I'll enjoy the road back. So, it really taught me to not take advantage of anything because I was training at a very high level. I trained today and doing doing push-ups, was a struggle. And you remember where you're at and you realize where you at now. And sometimes it's demoralizing. Like, man, I'm not doing this again. I've been through this road. I'm not working back to 100 again. But if you really love the craft like I do, I'm going to be stronger than I was before. I'm on a goal now. I'm trying to be the strongest person that touched the bar. You understand? And there's no disrespect to any of my mentors because I love them to death. But I'm trying to be that person. That's just my motivation. And like I said, coming off of this, to me, I'm looking at it as like a second chance.
Yeah.
So I'm valuing my family more. I'm valuing my time on the bar more. I'm valuing everything more. Like, really trying to take this to another level, really putting my best foot forward with bringing this sport to a higher platform, whether as an athlete or organizer, however. But I'm so in love with the craft. I'm trying to just really be crazy. I started working out earlier than I was supposed to. Y'all saw me at CCA. I still got the 36 clip at least at March Madness.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So, these things give me the motivation. Very much want to shout out everybody that reached out to me because I received a lot of love, a lot of advice, a lot of everything. So I definitely value God for that. It shows me that calisthenics is also my family.
Yeah.
It like this community really cares for each other, and that meant a lot to me. It wasn't like, oh, Snoop can't perform, so whatever, we'll just tune into the next guy. People were really interested. Like, yo, I got messages every day. How are you, bro? How you feeling today? And I'm like, wow, like, that's dope. Like, I just told y'all hit me up because y'all like my pull-ups, my push-ups. Y'all really just generally care about me. So I'm like blessings, man. Like, these little things mean a lot, and it provides the motivation for me to get back and, to give people motivation, man. Like, it's so contagious. Motivation is contagious.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this whole community and this culture is that the real ones are genuine, and thank goodness that there's a lot of genuine people out there that actually pay attention to you, learn about you, respect you, and care about you. Because you don't know this, but when you did that 36 clip, it motivated me because I sat there and looked at you as the Snoop that I first met.
Nice.
And I remembered every single thing you went through to this point, including that surgery. To see you knock out that 36 clip with ease for your birthday, I was like, yeah, I don't know what I need to step up, but I'm stepping up everything I'm doing. If you
I
could come
appreciate
back
that,
and still
man.
be this guy for everybody on that stage, like you you already had your moment. The event happened, ran through flawlessly, super excitement, everybody around giving great energy. My phone is blowing up, people saying they're so excited, it was so great, did so good, telling me to reach out to you and say thank you for this and all of this stuff. And in that moment, you could have just walked off. Keita was like, I'm Q, I want you to make sure that he does something for his birthday. So that's why I took the mic. So I'm like, all right, she was like, everybody do push-ups for his birthday. And you was like, I'm gonna hit the 36 clip. And right then in that moment, I was like, I'm gonna watch him do this 36 clip and see how you go through it. And you did it with ease. And
Thank you, man.
I was like, yeah, okay.
The fact that I can motivate you and you're the person that originally motivated me means the world, bro. Like that's a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Bruh. We are way over time as always, but
Told you.
I think we got a good amount of information out. Um, Bruh, it's always a pleasure to hit you up,
No doubt,
conversate
man.
with you. You've always motivated me from day one to watch you grow, to watch you build a team, to watch you build a league in a sense that's about to grow. And sky's the limit. No, sky is not the limit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they
We
because
gonna make it, bro.
that's right. So this is a start, a restart, something great, COVID or not. We plan to help you out in every possible way because we're all heading in the same direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Talk to me
So
indeed,
now.
once
John.
again, man, thank you for letting me speak my story on y'all platform. From day one, I've told you both guys, I very much love what y'all do. Um, I very much like the direction you've been a stand up person since I've met you, and John is my boy from jump. You understand? Like we done have them Brooklyn midnight basketball games that a
Oh
lot of people
yeah.
don't know
O'clock
about.
in
Like
the
the bond
morning.
goes beyond the bar.
Ooh.
You
Oh
understand?
man, the midnight basketball.
When the bond goes beyond the bar, that really means something to me. I don't just hit you up for pull-ups. I can hit you up about anything. You understand? Like I've spoken to John about marriage, religion, like these things mean a lot to me. So I don't want when I tell you guys that anything you need from me, I truly mean that because I recognize what are you trying to do, and I would like to play my role in it. Simple as that. Whether it's me competing, me being an athlete, me being a competitor, me helping with whatever, I'm down, man. Like let's work. Like let's put our best foot forward,
Come
put
on.
this sport on the map. And the only thing that come out of it, even if it's not successful, we just gonna have some dope memories to come from it. So it's a win-win situation.
Oh,
But I
oh,
know
There's
it's
not
gonna be.
oh, you already
only
know.
success can come out of this.
Yeah.
Talk to me nice.
You already know.
You know I play. You know everything's excellence or nothing.
Yep.
So you know, and we are all committed.
Hmm.
I don't care where you from. Whatever team you're a part of, if we're all committed for the same goal, when we look back one day and we're standing on the stage at some whatever award show for a lifetime achievement award for the body of work we put in to help people across the world do one
Mm-hmm.
pull up or
Hmm.
just fall in love with the sport,
Yep.
it's all worth it, and it's because of the commitment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And shout out to my team, man. I forgot to shout
Buddha,
them out. My energy comes from my team. There's not one thing I would do without them. They're not even my team. I'm not even gonna say my team. They're my family.
facts.
All of it. Every member of my team, from Barbarians, the Barbarian family, the Spartan family that we're building. Like there's not one move I would make without them. They are my backbone. They are everything to me, and they give me the confidence. And I'm glad to welcome you into my calisthenic family as well, even though you already were in it. But now we're tied together from a moment in time because March
Hmm.
Madness, not trying to put it out there, but in my opinion, might be top three competitions of all time. I'm
That's
being
it.
modest, John. I'm being modest. I'm trying to be modest here.
Ain't no. Come see me at the bar. It was the best one yet.
There's nothing like it.
Hear that?
There's nothing like
Nothing
it to
like
this
it.
point. There's nothing like it
Nothing
to
like
this
it.
point. It
So
stands
whoever didn't check
alone.
it out, it's still available for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Findingbarber.com. You can purchase your live stream link. In 2 weeks'
Pay the
time, it will become public on the CCA YouTube page as well as the Sick Elite YouTube page. But if you can't wait them 2 weeks, which I don't think you can because we're gonna be talking about this for a very long time, it's only $10. It's only $10.
First of all, Snoop,
Witness history.
if you go to Starbucks, if you pay for gas, if you paid for food, if you bought lunch, you paid more than what the stream costs. And
Well,
the
You probably drop more money in the street just reaching into your pocket for your keys.
And y'all better catch me while the price low, because it's going up.
Uh-huh.
I already
That
got
part.
I already got kind of looked at funny for having it that low.
You already told you.
I know exactly. I was talking about you already, but I already was like, yeah, you know what? I'm nice guy. Let's just want to spread it. Look at John's face.
Exactly.
We're not even going. I'm not
So
even.
consider that my birthday present to y'all. So having it for $10. But
Word.
just understand when it grows, it grows. But it'll be well worth it. Trust me.
$500.
Cash.
Yeah. And it'll be worth it.
It'll definitely be
Yep.
worth it, man. We're working on a lot of bigger things, better things. Trust me, it is only going up from here.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. So
Send us
on
home.
My
that note,
brothers,
Send us home. The buzzer has sounded.
Wait a minute.
I thought I got subbed in the
I got-
game just now. I'm about to take off the
Yep.
warm-ups. Like,
I got sound effects. It's a
Yo,
wrap.
you can't put those noises on, man. It bring back flashbacks, man.
yeah, man.
I'm looking for Coach.
I was about to
Right.
start stretching.
Oh,
It's
it's
a wrap.
terrible.
I got sound effects.
Yo, so on that note, this has been the CCA podcast. This is your boy Snoop, Team Sparta, Barbarian Gold Wing. Show them wings for them people.
Bam.
It's only one way to earn those, the hard way.
So, yeah.
This is the
And I'm
CCA
still the
podcast on
gatekeeper.
YouTube. What's that?
Me and Ace the gatekeeper. So to get in Barbarians, you still got to go through us.
Yep. So you better talk to that man. Go make a couple visits.
Better talk to
It's a
him.
hard journey, but it's well worth it, man. Hell is worth it. Nobody that has those wings have ever had a bad story. It is a learning process. It's an elite class.
So I would like to personally invite you two to our platform. As y'all know, at home, we have a podcast as well called Open Bar. I would love to have you both on there. Let's just continue the party. Keep the party going.
First of all, I was on one of the
You
first
you
podcasts
kickstarted
that
it.
never even went up, remember? Because we were using Instagram.
You
And it never
kickstarted.
stayed.
You gave us motivation, like we could do this. Because we interviewed you on Instagram Live.
Yeah,
It deleted in 24 hours, but the reception, me and Letty looked at each other like, we can make this a thing. Like, did we on to something? So I would definitely like to bring y'all back this season, John, to us, me, you, John, Q, and Puda. Just sit down and talk
My
about
God.
whatever.
like
you know,
said,
so
say
let's
less.
get it, man. Looking forward to working with y'all on every aspect possible.
Definitely. So remember, you heard that CIK podcast. Look that up. Check out the Coach Caps on YouTube.
Episode 3.
Season finale coming this weekend, by the way.
Ooh, okay. Pay attention to that. So, CCA podcast, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all the good things that we need to grow this thing. I'm Q France. That is John McLeod. That is Snoop. We are signing off. And as always, community over everything.